Life Story Work is an amazing intervention. It helps children understand their past experiences and process trauma. It's so important for so many of our children who've been separated from family members and have had traumatic experiences in their past. There are actually 5 defined approaches to Life Story Work, designed so that everyone supporting or caring for a child can use at least one of them to provide critical life story support. Let's take a look at the 5 defined approaches to Life Story Work. Can you imagine as a child being separated from family members and having a background that includes adverse childhood experiences? Experiences like neglect, domestic violence or abuse, those experiences that will cause childhood trauma. These experiences can leave children wondering, what happened? Why is it that I now live where I do? Why is it that the people who were supposed to protect me didn't keep me safe? These are questions that so many of our children have, particularly those who are care experienced. And this is where Life Story Work can really come in. It comes in to support those children to understand their past experiences and process background trauma. Life Story Work doesn't only help with understanding, it helps with processing trauma, it helps with developing a sense of identity and a sense of belonging and really making sense of the world in which you live in. The great thing is there are 5 defined approaches to Life Story Work. They're tailored to the intensity of the intervention needed. And there's an approach for everyone. So if you're supporting a care experienced young person, there will be an approach for you. But where did these approaches come from? The 5 approaches to Life Story Work were designed by myself and my colleague Kim. They're peer reviewed and they're in the British Journal of Social Work. I'm going to give you a quick tour and let you know where you can get some free resources. The 5 approaches to Life Story Work from least intensive to most intensive are Life Story Listening, Life Story Permanent Products, Life Story Coaching, Life Story Direct Work and Therapeutic Life Story Work. The approaches are least intensive to most intensive. They're not designed to be used in order. They're designed so the most appropriate approach can be selected for the individual child. However, having said that, often you'll use the less intensive approaches earlier on because they are the most appropriate and they're the most accessible. Let's take a look at the definitions of each approach and who might use them. The first approach is Life Story Listening. A Life Story listener listens to the young person, empathizes and comforts, but doesn't provide any information or question facts and perceptions. Life Story Listening is designed to be used by everyone supporting a care experienced young person. If they talk about their life story, then this is the approach for you. It can be used by foster carers, parents, adoptive parents, teachers, support workers, residential workers, social care practitioners, everybody supporting the child. It's designed as a foundational approach that everybody supporting a care experienced young person should know how to do. You'd use this approach to make sure you're providing a trauma-informed response when a young person shares information about their history. The second approach is Life Story Permanent Products. This is where somebody creates a permanent and organic record of all or part of the young person's history. Life Story Permanent Products would be used by anyone creating a permanent record for the child. They're things like life story books, later life letters, photos, collections of infant items, and memory boxes. This approach is different from all of the other approaches because it centres around a permanent record that the child can keep and refer back to at any point during their life, with the aim of helping them connect and understand their history to a greater degree. This is an approach in itself, and it's our second most intensive approach to Life Story Work. The third approach to Life Story Work is Life Story Coaching. A Life Story coach collects and shares information. They offer a safe space to wonder and reflect. They support the young person to process past and present life events, to support relationships. The foundation of Life Story Coaching is the relationship between the child and the person who's the Life Story coach. Because of this, it's usually somebody who's already present in their lives who becomes their Life Story coach. Somebody like a parent, a carer, a practitioner who sees them often, or someone in school who's always there to support them. The Life Story coach will share some information and, importantly, importantly, they'll help the child navigate through present events that might be impacted by their past experiences. As life story coaching is provided by those closest to the child, it's easily accessible, and it means life story work can be an ongoing process, which is what we really want for our children, that they understand their life story and they can integrate it into their current life to support their emotional well-being. The fourth approach to life story work is one you've probably heard of, life story direct work. This is where a practitioner explores a narrative of a young person's life events directly with them. Now, life story direct work is an intensive and structured process. It takes place over a number of weeks and a number of sessions. This means it's usually practitioners that are undertaking this piece of work, and practitioners who've had some training in how to undertake life story direct work specifically. You'd use life story direct work when a child has lots of information gaps about their past or misconceptions, and they need a more structured approach that can provide in-depth information and allow time for trauma processing. Life story direct work is the go-to intervention when an in-depth, structured approach to life story work is needed. The fifth and most intensive approach to life story work is therapeutic life story work. This is where a therapist uses a psychodynamic approach and a narrative of the young person's history as a basis to explore and address maladaptive core beliefs, psychological challenges, complex behaviours, and process trauma. This approach to life story work is unique because it's also a therapy. That means it can only be undertaken by therapists who are trained in therapeutic life story work. This approach is structured, and it includes using a narrative of the young person's history. Therapeutic techniques are interwoven throughout the life story work to help a child process emotional, behavioural, or psychological difficulties. This approach can address complex needs, but because it's the most intensive, it is going to be the least accessible. So where possible, we should use the 4 lower intensity approaches to support our children with life story work. A few things to remember about the 5 approaches. They are not designed to be used in order. They're designed so the right approach can be used at the right time for the individual child. You can use more than one approach at the same time. A child could be receiving life story direct work from a practitioner and have a parent or carer at home that's using life story listening or life story coaching to support them. There are lots of variations that can be used to provide the best support. If you're caring for or supporting a child who's separated from their family and has experienced background trauma, there is a life story approach for you. You can support them with this intervention. Those are the 5 approaches. Check them out in the British Journal of Social Work, and if you want to start using them, why not access our free resources, which I'll tell you about in our top tip. Here's my trauma-informed care top tip. Life story work is a trauma-informed intervention. It's an intervention that focuses on supporting children to understand their history and process past trauma. It's an intervention you can provide. If you'd like to know more about the 5 approaches and how you can use them, I highly recommend you attend our 5 Approaches to Life Story Work workshop. This is an hour-and-a-half workshop that goes in depth into the 5 approaches and how you could use them to support your children. And the best part is, it's absolutely free. I have popped a link in the description of this video to sign up for the workshop. We hope to see you there, and remember to subscribe to Tribe for more trauma-informed care in practice.